Good afternoon. I'm sure most of you are happy that we moved it to 1 o'clock. Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Well, congratulations to soccer starting out 3-0, and Coach Hopper's doing a great job there, and also good luck to all the other. I think there's quite a few other sports kicking off their season this week, and I wish them the best as they represent Auburn. Congrats to Chris Williams, National Assistant Coach of the Year for golf, very deserving. And thoughts and prayers really are with the family of Caden Tallier over at Morgan Academy in Selma, and Coach Webb as they deal with the tragic loss of one of their teammates and a son, and just can't imagine the difficulty that they're going through. So our thoughts and prayers are with them. Excited it's game week. I let the staff off yesterday for our kind of last Sunday that we will have off for a while, and after the mock game Saturday, and I know that they enjoyed being with their families, and I got my last round of golf in for the foreseeable future, and probably need to suspend Brendan Frazier and Speaks for a quarter or something for the slow play that was in front of me. It was horrendous. They've got to learn how to play the game faster if you're going to play. And but it was a beautiful day yesterday, and we all got to enjoy our families. And now we're excited about game week for sure. It's always just full of anticipation, and I think most of you think that those of us who've done this a while know what to expect from our team, and that could be that's so far from the truth, at least for me. I don't. I think you really are 2-3 games in before you really like, all right, this is who we really are and what we can do, and so I still, as much as I've enjoyed preparing and coaching this team and being with this staff, I still think it's an accurate statement to say I still don't know exactly who we are just yet. I think we're better at a lot of spots for sure, but you've got to go prove it each and every Saturday, and so that's something that I'm anxious to see for sure. Alabama A&M, looking forward to hosting them in Jordan-Hare. It's our second straight year of sold out tickets. I know it's Wear Orange night. I want to say that, and looking forward to having all of our great fans in that stadium, and to see how Jordan-Hare is going to kick off the 24 season and their support for our players. So excited about that. A&M's got some, there's several unknowns. Coach Maynor, I don't know personally, but he has a great reputation of being a really good football coach, and the quarterback battle is a little bit up in the air. I think at least we can't find out exactly what the plan is there. They've got a returner and also a transfer that we're trying to study a little both, and we do know they got a really good running back in Seven. He's a heck of a running back. Love 84 at tight end. Offensive line's got several all-conference performers. Big group there, and the wide receivers are led by 6 and 3, and they're big, rangy guys. But definitely the quarterback, Smith, is the transfer from Miami of Ohio. He's a dual threat guy, and Brown is played at Georgia State and is got a big arm, real big arm. So, I think they do want to run the football. I think we've got to stop the run and try to make them one-dimensional. But they've got some really talented kids on that side of the football. Defensively, the free safeties, all-conference performer number 6, and Tate, I believe is his name, and And 7, the defensive end, is a twitchy pass rusher. One that we've got to pay attention to. Ellis, I believe, is his name also. Then they're loaded with a bunch of transfers on that side, and with a new defensive coordinator that's coming from South Carolina State, and another DC that's coming from Grambling State, and trying to figure out what that looks like is kind of a guessing game for sure for us. And is it what you saw at South Carolina State? Is it what you saw at Grambling? Is it a combination? The whole defensive staff is new with a lot of transfers, so I usually like to know in my mind, hey, on 3rd and 1, we really want to run it to this defensive lineman, or I don't know any of that really going into this game, and so there's several unknowns. I do know 2 of their transfers. They were at Liberty, and they're both really solid players. So, but they've got several on that side, again, with a total new defensive staff. So the game planning for us offensively is it takes a little guesswork, and but you've got to be able to adjust and be ready to go with whatever we see and whatever they come up with as the plan. So excited again. Jordan Hare at home, 24 season to kick off, and I know our kids will be ready, and we're anxious for kickoff.
Second row on the left for Bill.
Hugh, you talked about swapping guys on the left side of that offensive line last week. How did that go, and do you have an idea of what you want to do this week up front?
Yeah, I think it'll be a few games in before we kind of settle into exactly what it looks like, but we actually rotated Tyler Johnson, Percy, and D. Wade in kind of a 3-way rotation there, along with Brandon Joyner at that only guard position. And I think the most likelihood is you're going to see D. Wade play a little of both, and us rotate around him at that tackle position and kind of see who plays the best. I mean, ultimately, like I will tell our players today, at some point, the film has to be the resume that is the ultimate decider. And that's life, and that's football, and nothing can be given. It must be earned week in, week out by the way you practice on the film, and the way that you perform on a Saturday. And so I think we'll have to, it'll take a little time to kind of sort out exactly what that looks like from game to game. And one thing I'll know is we will end up needing every one of them before the year's over, and hopefully we create great competitive depth there by rotating some around and keeping them fresher.
Stay left, Bill.
How is it set up as far as who's in the box?
Oh, let's see. Offensively, let's see, Nix and Kent and Maurice, Hiller. I won't forget somebody probably. Those 4 I know are in the box. That would mean that Jesse's probably down to communicate with Kent, and Jake's down for sure, and Marcus is down. Get everybody. Ben Agamo's down.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think DJ is still working on that. DJ will be down. I think he's just debating on who's best to keep down with him and to go up.
Stay row 3 on the left. 2 questions.
Heard from Coach Nix last week. He expressed a lot of confidence in his running back room. How do you plan to use Jarquez and Damari and Jeremiah this year?
Keep them fresh and get them touches. I think all 3 of those guys are quality players that add great value to us, and figuring out a way to get those touches to those guys is important for us for sure.
Stay with 3rd row.
Hey Coach, can't really understand the bang up a little bit in camp, but what has he done for you guys both, when he's healthy in the offense, and then when he wasn't practicing as much, just around, what's he meant for the rest of the guys now coming to the offense?
One of the most impressive things about Dre is his leadership, the way he's bringing along and helping teach and coach and mentor the Cams and Perrys and Malcolms and Bryces. I think he's just, I didn't know if that's the case when you get a transfer, but he has really been selfless in trying to help those guys, and glad to see him. He bounced back at the end of the last week, and he looked ready to play. He had a great few practices at the end of the last week.
Stay in the front, we're going to move to the front row, I'm sorry, to the right.
But Coach, it looks like, you know, at your starting wide receiver spots, you're pretty solid on who's going to start there. But Perry and Malcolm, we saw a lot of them this fall. Can you talk about how you're going to work those guys in game one and try to get them ready?
Yeah, it's pretty free rotation, you know, at that spot for. I want them fresh. If someone runs a deep route and it's an incomplete or there's not an explosive play, you know, I'd expect the next guy up, and so that we're ready to snap the ball and we're fresher. I don't like the idea of a guy running a streak route and it's a deep incompletion and he's running back to the line, and I've never been a fan of that at all. And so I do think we're at a spot right now where, now again, they're going to have to go out there and do it. In the mock game Saturday, it was freely rotating among those top 6 guys, and still a few too many MAs by the younger guys, and we're going to talk straight about that today when I give them the truth. And you know, one of the hardest things I think today is, I mean, you've got to figure out as a coach how you speak hard truth to a player, especially a young one, without it seems like everything is, man, I used to, Mike, you just, as a coach 10 years ago, you put it on film and said, this is absolutely horrendous. You got to get it right. You're not going to play. You know, you've got to be accountable to the team and to this. And now it's, you know, you really have to think about the way you say those things, because the fine line between coaching is, I mean, unfortunately, part of our job is to be critical evaluators, but I don't ever want it to be personal. And it seems as life has changed or whatever, everything is kind of taken personal. And so we as coaches have to do a great job with building relationships with our players where they know, man, the guy honestly cares about me. And when he says, this is absurd of what you're putting on film right now, it's not some type of indication that you as a human being are less than in any way. It's, man, you got to be accountable to your team. And some of those younger guys, you expect them to make some mistakes, you do, but we're at a point in our journey here where we're dependent upon them, and man, it's high time I get you may have a drop or you may mess up the top end of a route, but man, when all other 10 get the signal exactly right and you're asleep at the wheel and it destroys the play, man, that stings, that hurts. And we had about 6 of those, and they were all from young kids. But if we're going to have this free rotation mindset, that's got to change. And so they're going to get challenged today with that. And but you know, I expect you to see a good rotation there early in the games, especially. Obviously, if you get down to it, you got to have your who you think gives you the best opportunity to win the football game out there. But I'm anxious to see all of those guys jump in there and see how they perform when it's real.
Nathan and then Jason.
I know you mentioned Austin Keys maybe as a question mark for this first game. Do you have any update on him, and then any other sort of interim date?
Yeah, in our staff meeting this morning, the medical report, our medical team felt like he was a probable. So we'll see how he handles. You know, he has another day today, which you just walked through today, but I'm gonna need to see something out of him Tuesday and Wednesday for me to feel that way. But that's the way they felt about he and Keontae.
Jason.
You talked about the uncertainty with transfers. Obviously, adjustments are always important, but early in the season, does it make it even more of an onus to execute and kind of do what you do, especially when you're trying to play so many new faces?
Yeah, I think you feel comfortable with your base calls and that your quarterbacks understand the answers to certain issues, and the fronts may be different than what you kind of planned for, or certain alignments by backers or coverages may be a little different, but some things can't change. Is there 6 in the box? Is there 7 in the box? I mean, those things come back to your base rules, and how do you handle that if they are? And so, early on in the game, you would expect us to still execute our base stuff. We may have to get to the sideline and change a blocking scheme or something, but as far as should the ball have been handed off or should have been thrown, you would expect us to handle that. And in pass pro, heck, we've seen every look under the sun against DJ, so we can't use that as an excuse that all of a sudden they jumped in a different front and we can't pass protect it. So some of the base stuff you would expect us to still be able to execute.
Go to the left front row, JG, and then Brian Stokes.
Yeah, on the defensive depth chart, you've got 37 players listed as starters. I mean, essentially everybody.
Everybody.
Are you smoke screening, or are you just going to really rotate a whole lot?
Honestly, it's not. Y'all know how I feel about depth charts from day one. I think they're ridiculous, and they're not accurate, and I'm not trying to hide something from you, but honestly, I don't even know who we have. I haven't looked at it, but who do we have at left tackle? Honestly, it's going to be either Percy or Tyler, or maybe D. Wade. I don't know. And then defensively, you want to talk about defensive tackles, we've got 6 that we're going to rotate in there, and I could care less who goes out there the first snap. I really don't. I don't care. And obviously neither does DJ if we got 37 starters. So you better play a lot of guys, particularly early in the year, and and it really, I know it doesn't, I'm laughing about it because I think, but to some people it matters, to some kid it matters, to some mama it matters, and so we'll list them all as starters, the ones that we think have earned the right to roll out there and play, and I really do mean it. I have no clue who DJ and his staff and Bontrail are going to roll out in the defensive front to start the game. Well, are we in odd? Are we in even? I don't know. But if you're in even, I know J-Mac's going to be out there, and I know Kelder's going to be out there. Those other 6 in the middle, they all have been with the first team. They've all been the second team, or the blue-orange team, as we referred to it, or the white team. And I don't see a ton of drop-off, really. So it's not really a smoke screen. I don't know what the secondary looks like, because that's where we're the thinnest for sure. But I would expect Keontae and Can Lee to get a nod at the corners, but we're going to need others to play too. We're still trying to figure out the safeties, though, truthfully.
Brian.
Thanks for an answer, Sleep. How confident are you in that Peyton can get the job done this year? And how confident are you going in the first game with him controlling the offense?
I'm very confident sitting here today, and at the same time I've said since spring practice that ultimately he's got to get the job done. But I wouldn't be I wouldn't be going with him if I wasn't confident in him, and I've always believed in him and believe in him even more today than I did in January. Because of what I've seen and what I witnessed and what I hear in the meeting room, in the film room when I'm with him, and I think he's excited to prove that to a lot of people also.
Coach over far right, over here by me.
What have you seen from Hank since he was designated number 2 quarterback? Have you seen a change in him, and how's he done?
Still has a ways to go in the protections and the fixes that we need him to be able to make. Throws the deep ball extremely well. Needs to be a little more accurate in some of the others. Holden still getting his share of reps and is doing quite well also. But Hank's biggest thing right now is slowing down when he has to slow down and make sure you get protected.
row 2, left.
Hugh, y'all worked a lot of different guys at punt return in fall camp. You kind of have a feeling on who might be the first to go out there, or is it going to be a
Yeah.
rotation?
Well, let's say Keontae's healthy, he'd probably be the first one that went. If he's not, I would think it'd be Dre, and then after that, Bryce or Malcolm. If we ever get in a situation where it's one where I just definitely must have the possession of the football and it must be caught, have great confidence in Will Upton also.
Left 3.
Any update on kicker situation?
Don't think Alex is much better. He's much better, and he's getting better. I don't think he will be ready to go, but don't hold me to that. So Towns is prepared and ready to go, and has had a really good week last week, and so we're that's where I think it's headed. But Alex did kick a little bit last Thursday, but I don't think he will be. I don't think he'll be quite ready this Saturday.
Welcome back, row TV at 3 back there.
Hey Coach, as you're getting ready to get your number 2 underway on Saturday, what is the statement you're wanting this team to make?
I want us to play with a passion in Jordan Hare that is one that would be consistent all year long, and a confident football team that looks like they love one another and that they love being together at Auburn, and it shows in the way we play and execute. And obviously the coaching in me wants to see us play a smart brand of football, which is taking care of it, the ball, no selfish pre-snap penalties that put you behind the chains, and obviously situational awareness, understanding it's 3rd and 1, and I probably don't need to get booed because you're throwing a fade ball on our RPO system, unless you know we're going for it on 4th down. And again, that helmet that this communication deal is kind of helpful, stuff like that, truthfully, because I'm the world's worst at getting to 3rd and 1 and not calling off the RPOs because I expect Peyton or Hank or Holden to know the situation. Now I can feel a little better about those, but really want to see us passionate and execution to be clean without the sloppiness of penalties, taking care of the football on offense, going to get it on defense, and us being a really, really smart situational football team.
Hey, you mentioned obviously you have no shortage of talent and receiver now this season, but with Sam Jackson coming in, his speed, how did you and the offensive staff plan to utilize him in the RPO game? How do you again utilize that speed better?
Yeah, we're blessed, to have him and and Robert and Malcolm and Bryce all kind of in that slot position, and all of them have skill sets, and 3 of those 4 will be freely rotating in the game, and we'll sort it out as the season goes. But everybody's a little different, Sam's definitely got some tools that you can use him in some of the, speed sweep game, screen game, and in the pass game. So he's even played some quarterback before. Who knows? Might see him at Wildcat quarterback, and but glad we have him for sure.
Stand back row.
Coach, some of the words throughout this offseason have been comfortability, confidence going into this year so far. Coming into this game week, what has validated those feelings for you and stands out about this team on the field? And as you open this press conference, not sure who you are, chance to get, what do you expect to see through this weekend Saturday to start answering your question?
Yeah, I don't. You don't know how they're going to perform when it gets real, but as far as the things that we've continuously talked about since January through SEC Media Days to now is the chemistry and the culture difference that I feel in year 2 with the entire building, and that's continued. I've had no second thoughts on that, even as we've gone through the grind camp, and that 3rd week's always a tough week with school starting. There's no game, and yet still found reason to feel good about, you know, what I'm seeing from the leadership of our team. But most people inherently are selfish, all of us. And the great thing about football is nothing great happens by yourself. And I've been around enough teams to know, man, if they really can get it and understand it's a team first deal, and you take yourself off the platform, which is hard because everybody wants their stats and they have voices in their head telling them that, and you can win a game and somebody's upset because their mama or daddy or uncle told them, well, you didn't get your share and we just won a game. Man, we ought to be singing the fight song and rejoicing together that we did it together. And what I sense from this team right now is that, and the only way that ever happens is for it to be empowered by the players to lead that way. I can stand up and say it till I'm blue in the face, but if it becomes uncomfortable for you to be opposed to that culture and that chemistry, if it becomes unpopular in the locker room, then you're on to something. And that's the reason that I am hopeful.
Good time for one more, coach, back right.
Coach, how comfortable are the coaching staff and the players with the new communication that we use a lot this Saturday?
The players seem to be handling it pretty easy. It's probably me more than I think I'm talking into it, and I'm not, because I'm not hitting the right button, or, you know, it's, I literally have, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm wearing one of the police belts, you know, there's just stuff everywhere, and you got to hit the right button, so it's taken me some adjusting for sure. The players is pretty easy. I will say unfortunately, we had a little issue with ours in the stadium Saturday, and I sure hope that's not going to be the case, you know, Saturday night. I mean, they quickly got it fixed, but it was 2 plays. But you know, I hope that that's not the case, and a reoccurring problem that you might have, and they really couldn't tell me what was wrong with it. So, but it's taking some getting used to from the coach's standpoint. I think DJ handles it better than I do because he just uses a walkie-talkie. But my hands are so full that I don't. I'm trying to use all the buttons, and maybe that's a mistake. I don't know, but it is. I do think there's some benefits to it for sure.
All right, coach.